All right, to start out with this, we're going to go ahead and set up in a quadruped position. Go ahead and make sure that the tops of your feet are flat and that you are rolling the shoulders back and down, core tucked in, and thinking about headlights on your hind parts. Then you're going to walk your hands out a little bit further to bring your core towards the ground a little bit more. You should feel a little bit of bracing in there. Then, if you are comfortable with this move, you can actually tuck your toes under and pop up to a full expression of a plank. Make sure that you're breathing, holding that core tight, while also making sure that your hind parts are not on display. Then you're going to move your back leg to the knee and kickstand it out while rotating the other heel flat against the ground and bringing yourself up to a side plank. Your shoulders should be over your wrist and your other shoulder should be stacked on top of the other shoulder. Then you're going to roll back down into a plank. You can keep your knees down or have them up. Push back into down dog. You can also keep a slight bend in your knee if your hamstrings are tight. And you can also move back and forth to play with that, especially if it's your first down dog of the day. And you can move back and forth into plank to help loosen up those hamstrings. Your heels do not have to touch the ground.
Whenever you're ready, Nikkia.
All right, so we've got a plank. You're gonna make sure that your pelvis is tucked under, that you're gonna keep your core strong, but that you can still breathe. Shoulders back and down the body, and really think about the top of your head pushing forward. Then with a push-up, you will bring your chest between your palms. And if you'd like to, you can do a hand release at the bottom to make sure that you are fully pushing up.
If you need to take a modified approach to the push-up, feel free to put your knees down and only go as low as you feel comfortable. Make sure that you are leaning slightly forward as a way to make sure your core is engaged, but it does depend on your ability level.
While you're in your plank and moving into your push-up, you're going to make sure that your arms make an arrow. Think about making yourself an arrow.
So now we have a TYW shoulder retraction drill. So what we're trying to do right now is work the postural muscles. When we're in that T, we want to lift up and hold it for a pause so that we feel the squeeze in that upper back. Once we've done about 10 of them, we'll go up into a Y position. Think like YMCA, yes. You're going to lift up and then tap the fingers to the floor. It is a-okay if your chest comes up a little bit off of the floor. That'll just mean that it is working a little bit more down the spine. Then we're gonna pull those elbows into a W, and with that one, you'll really feel the shoulder blades tuck into your spine or into your quote unquote back pocket. With this one, you also wanna make sure you feel that squeeze before you extend back out. This way you know you are starting to feel those muscles and you are starting to gain a mind-body connection.
If you would like to use a bench or utilize weights, you can do TYW using a bench. What you're going to do is the same thing as if you were laying flat on the floor, keeping your spine neutral, raising your arms, utilizing the plates.
If you opt for a weight, always start with a little bit lighter than what you think you can do, just to make sure that you avoid injury. As you are pulling the weight towards the sky, as that elbow is coming up, you want to make sure that the shoulder comes with it. You're tucking that scapula into your spine and keeping the elbow close to your shirt. It should almost feel like it's rubbing. If you have no weights at home, you can use a water bottle. As a runner, we often aren't carrying too much, so feel free to use a water bottle, making sure that you are feeling that contraction in the shoulder as well as in the tricep.
For our single arm rows, if you'd like to use a resistance band, you will put the resistance loop under your foot, right under the arch, and then you're going to pull back Shoulder back and down as you are bringing that elbow to the sky.
So for this last upper body move, it is a very small motion that has big results, especially for runners. We typically will start to hunch over or put our head down as we run. And so by doing an exercise like this, chin tuck, we're actually working the muscles in our neck and can really help in those longer runs to keep our posture up, our chin up, our airway open. Yes, it is tons of fun to do. So now let's go ahead and move to the lower body. We are going to make sure our feet are about hip distance apart. If you want to go a little bit wider, that is a-okay, and you may point your toes out about 10 degrees. What we're going to do is roll those shoulders back and down, pull that belly button in and up. We're going to sit those hips back and down, expanding those knees as we come down. If you would like to have your hands out just for some balance, that is a-okay. If you want to make this a little bit harder and challenge your stability, go ahead, bring your feet together, step out to that hip distance, bring those hips back and down, squat as low as you can, then bring the feet back together. Go ahead, do it again. And then we're going to try the other side for 2. Stepping out, squat down nice and low, come back in, and hopefully you'll feel your heart rate go up just a touch with this variation.
When we're setting up for our squat, what you're going to do is come down and then explode up to your toes, still being sturdy. And what you're going to do is make sure that your hips are still going back and down, and then you're exploding up to the top of those toes. If you want to add some if you want to add some cardio to this squat, what you're going to do is a squat jump out to the side while bringing your feet in the middle.
So when we run, we often only use one leg at a time. I mean, that's kind of the cycle as it goes. What we're going to be doing here is a front and back lunge. A front lunge, you will step forward, lower down to as close to a 90 degree in the knees as possible. When you're stepping back though is when you're going to be challenging your balance. If you have knee issues, opt to do a back lunge instead, which means that you'll just be stepping back, lowering down as far as you feel comfortable, and then coming back to where your feet are coming together.
Going into a lateral lunge is so great because it allows for you to work in a different plane other than our front to back lunges. Moving in this plane will also help strengthen your ankles and your legs to help you be a better runner. Another way to help support you while you're out running is to sometimes change up that plane so you can do a diagonal lunge, alternating back and forth to continue to work on the ankle stabilization you need to run longer and stronger. To properly prep for your Bulgarian split squats, go ahead and sit on your bench, bring your hind parts to the edge. You're going to position your legs, slight kickstand with one leg, and that's going to pop up to the bench. And then you're going to go down, either grab your weight or do this without. And that puts you in the right position to properly target the glutes as you go into your Bulgarian split squats.
So as runners, we really need to focus on those glutes to help propel us forward. By utilizing an RDL or Romanian deadlift, we can really focus on those hamstrings and glutes. For this variation, we are doing a kickstand RDL, meaning that we have the leg staying down behind us. We make sure that the weight is in the opposite of the front leg, and we still should focus on having a nice neutral spine, keeping that core nice and tight. The weight is just kind of hanging there. We're not actively pulling it. You will feel a stretch in the front leg and into the glute. That is what you're looking for in proper form. Do you want to go straight to the, okay. Now to level it up, what we're going to do is as you lower, lift up that back leg. This is going to challenge your ankle stability as well as your strength in the peroneal tendon, which is on the side of the ankles. It is also just a lot of fun to see how you do. It's always a good challenge. Make sure that there is a wall though to help you with your balance if you try this at home.
If working on your balance, you're a little worried about doing it freeform, you can actually put your foot up against the wall, and that's going to help you target the glutes even more. The same rules still apply. Rolling the shoulders back and down, really leaning forward, hinging at that hip, and pulling up through the core to make sure that you're lifting strong. Make sure that you are not collapsing into or towards the wall. Really think about keeping that foot, ankle, and calf strong to keep you pushed away from the wall.
Another core move to incorporate into your routine is a shoulder stability with toe tap. What you're going to be doing is laying flat on the ground, pushing your lower back into the floor, holding either 2 dumbbells, one in each hand, or a plate directly over your chest. Bring your legs up, and slowly on every exhale, you're going to lower down your foot until either your heel or your toe touches the ground. It may look easy, but it's actually pretty hard. So grabbing a resistance band or working at the cable stack at your local gym, grab a handle. What you're gonna do is stand hip distance apart, pull that strap or that cable stack to your chest. You're gonna bring it into the actual chest, making sure to touch around your sternum, pushing out. Once you've done a few of these, try and connect it to your breath. So you're gonna inhale, bring it into your chest, exhale, really hugging that core in. You should feel your core a little bit more than your arms, but it is a-okay if you feel both.